Stop. Not in panic, not in fear, but in holy stillness. There are moments in a human life when time itself seems to hesitate, when the noise of the world fades just enough for eternity to lean closer. This is one of those moments. Still your hands. Quiet your racing thoughts. Let the constant stream of distractions fall away like dust in the wind. Because something sacred is happening. Heaven has paused, not with thunder, not with spectacle, not with the tearing of skies, but with intention. A deliberate, measured, eternal intention directed toward you. This is not coincidence, not algorithm, not random timing. This moment was written long before your first breath filled your lungs. Before you ever opened your eyes to the light of this world, before your name was spoken by human lips, before your heart learned its rhythm, this second was known. You did not stumble here. You were led. There is a difference. You have asked for a sign. You may not have said it loudly. Perhaps you whispered it into the dark while lying awake. Perhaps you carried it as a quiet ache beneath your daily routines. Perhaps you said nothing at all, but your heart formed the question in silence. Are you still with me? You have searched the skies for confirmation. You have looked for answers in doors that remained closed. You have wondered whether the silence meant absence. And now here you are being answered. Not in chaos, not in spectacle, but in clarity. You have been standing in what felt like a hallway with no doors. A season suspended between what was and what should have been. The past behind you heavy with disappointment, the future ahead of you unclear. But what you did not see was this. You were not in a hallway. You were in a waiting room. And waiting rooms are not places of rejection. They are places of preparation. You interpreted delay as denial. You interpreted silence as abandonment. You interpreted closed doors as failure. But what if none of that was true? What if every delay was design? What if every detour was protection? What if every silence was alignment? You have fought battles no one else saw. Smiled while carrying weight in your chest. Spoken confidently while doubting privately. Encouraged others while wondering who would strengthen you. You cried tears you never let fall in public. But they were seen. Every single one. Nothing escapes divine notice. Not the trembling of your voice, not the exhaustion in your spirit, not the quiet surrender you made on the days you wanted to quit but didn't. You survived days you thought would break you. You endured nights that felt endless. And you are still here. That is not an accident. You were sustained. There were moments you said, I cannot do this anymore. And yet you did. Where did that strength come from? It was not willpower alone. It was not stubbornness. It was not luck. You were carried. When you felt a sudden calm that made no logical sense. When the storm inside you softened without explanation. When you made it through something that should have crushed you. You were being upheld by something greater than yourself. You thought you were alone in the dark. But you were surrounded. There are seasons in life that feel hidden, buried, underground. Seeds do not look powerful when they are buried. They look forgotten. But underground is where roots grow. You have been in a hidden season. Not discarded. Not overlooked. Hidden. Protected from premature exposure. Shielded from hands that would mishandle you. Developed where no applause could distract you. You called it isolation. Heaven called it incubation. There are blessings that would have destroyed you had they arrived too early. There are platforms that would have elevated you before your character could sustain the height. There are relationships that would have entered your life before you learned discernment. You thought you were being withheld from. In reality, you were being prepared for. Gold is refined in fire. Seeds break before they grow. Muscles strengthen under resistance. And souls deepen in silence. The silence was not empty. It was active. Behind the curtain of your awareness, details were aligning. Conversations you never heard were unfolding. Paths were being cleared in places you had not yet walked. Obstacles were being removed before you encountered them. While you questioned, why is nothing happening? Everything was happening, just not where you could see it. You have compared yourself to others. You have watched doors open for people around you and wondered, why not me? But comparison is a thief of perspective. You were not late. You were not overlooked. You were being shaped privately so that what is revealed publicly will endure. There is a difference between receiving a blessing and sustaining it. And sustainability requires maturity. The waiting strengthened you in ways comfort never could. It taught you to trust without visible evidence, to hope without guarantees, to continue without applause. You did not lose time. You gained depth. You did not lose opportunity. You gained resilience. You did not lose divine presence. You discovered it in a new way. The season that felt like abandonment was actually intimacy. Because in silence you learned to listen differently. You began to recognize subtle guidance. You learned to discern internal nudges. You discovered that faith does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels quiet, steady, unseen. There were nights when you whispered into darkness, unsure if anyone heard. But no whisper is wasted. No tear evaporates unnoticed. Every tear is recorded as evidence of endurance. Every sigh becomes a seed planted in unseen soil. Every act of choosing to continue, when quitting would have been easier, became a declaration that you still believed, even if you weren't sure what you believed in. And that matters. You have been asking, when will my change come? Change does not always announce itself with trumpets. Sometimes it begins with awareness. Sometimes it begins with a single moment where you realize, I am not forgotten. You are standing at an intersection. Behind you, the version of yourself shaped by delay, doubt, and endurance. Before you, a version of yourself shaped by clarity, courage, and obedience. The shift is subtle at first. A calm replacing chaos. A steadiness replacing panic. A knowing replacing constant questioning. You may not feel fireworks, but you may feel something else. Resolve. A strengthening. A quiet confidence that something is different now. The future you prayed for does not begin when circumstances change. It begins when your posture changes. When you release the need to control. When the breakthrough you have been waiting for is not something rushing toward you from far away. It has been forming, and now it is near. But there is something required of you. Attention, presence, obedience. Distraction has stolen more from you than failure ever did. Fear delayed more opportunities than lack of ability ever could. You did not miss things because you were incapable. You missed them because hesitation whispered louder than trust. But that pattern does not have to continue. This moment is not entertainment. It is interruption. A sacred interruption. You are being asked to pause long enough to realign. To quiet the noise long enough to hear direction. To stop negotiating with fear long enough to say yes to growth. The blessing meant for you will not force itself upon you. Doors do not walk you through them. Opportunities do not drag you forward. They open. And wait. There are moments in life when heaven opens quietly. No thunder. No spectacle. Just invitation. This is invitation. Not pressure. Not threat. Invitation. To step forward. To respond without overanalyzing. To trust without dissecting. You have waited long enough. And the waiting was not wasted. But waiting is not meant to be permanent. There comes a point where preparation shifts into participation. You are approaching that point. The heaviness you carried is lifting. The confusion that clouded you is clearing. The doubt that whispered constantly is weakening. Something steadier is rising in you. Call it courage. Call it peace. Call it awakening. Whatever name you give it, it is real. You are not the same person you were when this season began. You are deeper. stronger, less impressed by superficial things, more aware of what truly matters. The silence matured you. The struggle sharpened you. The hidden season anchored you. And now you stand ready, not because you feel fearless, but because you understand that fear no longer gets the final say. You are not standing at the end of your story. You are standing at a hinge, a pivot point. What happens next depends not on perfect knowledge, but on simple obedience. When you feel the nudge, move. When you sense release, let go. When clarity comes, act. Do not wait for applause. Do not wait for universal approval. Do not wait for zero doubt. Move with the peace that passes explanation. Because sometimes the most powerful miracles do not look dramatic at first. They look like decisions. Quiet decisions. A yes spoken in stillness. A step taken despite uncertainty. A release of something you outgrew. This is where breakthrough begins. Not in spectacle. In surrender. And this is only the beginning. My child, hear my voice, for I speak with purpose. There are seasons that seem like exile, where your heart grows restless and your mind wrestles with doubt. But I tell you this, it is not exile you are in, it is refinement. You do not understand the depth of the work I am doing in you, but I know the purpose I have set before you. You called it stagnation. I call it sanctification. Understand the difference. Stagnation leads to decay. Sanctification leads to transformation. You have not been set aside to wither, you have been set apart to be prepared. You feel as though you are in a waiting room, but know this. It is a refining fire that burns away all that does not belong. That which is not of me will be consumed. You ask why the silence, why the stillness? You feel as though you are standing still, watching the world move without you. You wonder why the breakthrough has not come. But understand, my child, this is the season of depth. Your roots must grow deep before you can rise tall. You are not being forgotten. You are being fortified. Your roots are growing in darkness, but do not despise the hidden work. The ground beneath you is preparing to hold the weight of the glory I am about to pour out. You are not decaying, you are being strengthened. I do not move you in haste. I move you with precision. There is purpose in every delay, every moment of frustration. Every time you felt blocked, it was my hand protecting you. You have been guarded, not abandoned. You think you are unseen, but I see you, and my timing is perfect. It is not measured by the ticking of a clock, but by the alignment of your heart with my will. I have ordained this season of silence to align your soul with my purposes. You asked for elevation. Elevation without preparation would cause you to collapse. But you have been prepared even though you did not understand the process. Now you will rise. You were not ready for elevation before. But now, because of the fire, because of the waiting, because of the internal shifting, you are ready. Do not doubt this. You have grown in ways you cannot yet see, but I see. You are no longer the same. The pressure has formed you, the waiting has refined you, and now I will release you into what I have prepared. You will not walk alone through this next season. I will walk with you. But you must understand this. With elevation comes warfare. You have been in preparation, but there is an unseen battle that has raged for your soul, for your destiny. There are forces that have tried to stop you before you even knew you were being stopped. But I have kept you. I have closed doors and rerouted you when you did not understand. Trust my protection. Trust my hand upon you. And now the time for waiting is over. The sacred moment is here. The window is opening, and it will not remain open forever. This moment requires decisive action. You will feel the stirring in your spirit, and you will know what I am calling you to do. But hear me clearly, when I speak you must move. Do not hesitate. Your hesitation has kept you stuck for too long. The longer you wait, the further you delay the promises I have for you. When I give you the command, move. When I call you to speak, speak. When I ask you to release, release. There is no more time to delay. I know you are afraid. I know you feel unprepared. But I have called you for such a time as this. When I say go, you go. When I say step out, you step out. There is no more questioning. No more doubting. This is the moment you have been waiting for. The voices of fear will whisper, the doubts will rise, but do not listen. I have spoken. And my voice will guide you, my presence will protect you. You do not need to understand every detail. You do not need to see the whole path. All you need to do is trust me and obey. You will not always feel ready, but you are more ready than you know. This moment is not about perfection. It is about obedience. And obedience, my child,